Hello, everybody. This is the Picky Gamer back for episode 5 of Let's Play Xenoblade Chronicles X. So, today we are going to be starting Chapter 2, where we head to the designated site on the Eastgate Plain to install a data probe. So, let's head on out. Cut the loading.
Man, am I glad we pulled an assignment to the east of the city this time. It'd be a long walk all the way back over to the west gate.
Hold on. Are we even sure the East Gate will be open? Last I heard, it was still on lockdown from all the high-level indigent activity.
It was, but they just lowered the threat level earlier today. The gates are officially open for business. One of our teams must have gone out there and kicked some furry indigent butt, huh?
Alright, so we have two choices. We can boast, or we can speculate. Let's see what happens when you speculate.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. Irina's team is one of our best.
How does he know Irina and Gwyn?
We ran into them just before we met up with you. They were on their way out to an assignment.
Well, then that settles it. It must have been them, right? Man, forget this amateur hour probe baloney. Those guys are where the action's at.
I'll try not to take that personally. But enough talk. We've got our mission to deal with. Let's head out.
Roger. That probe isn't gonna install itself. Let's get to the East Gate, shall we?
Okay, so... Alright, well, first of all, let me read this. Eleanor's advice, the segment map. This is Eleonora, Blade Support Lead, here to tell you that the segment map is now available for use. The map displayed on your handheld comm device, also known as the Wii U gamepad, is a useful tool with lots of info about Mira. Give it a look if you're unsure of where you are or what to do. Alright, well, I'll get into that in just a minute, but I just want you guys to realize something. I have played this game for nearly 100 hours. I know a lot of what goes on. However, that interaction between Lynn and Elma was completely new to me, because the first time I played this game, I decided to boast, but the second playthrough, I decided to speculate. I'm not saying this game has an entirely huge amount of replay value because, well, it's just so huge and, you know, the RPG nature of it, but it really does let you just customize your experience by, you know, your personality. Are you the boastful type or are you the speculative type? And, you know, there you go. Also, we got the achievement Novice Traveler, or Novice Traveler, Novus. By discovering the East Gate. So yeah, and as I was saying, unfortunately, I can't show this to you, but on the bottom, the Wii U gamepad, map just popped up, and now you have access to the entire world map. I don't know if you can hear the little sounds it makes when you click on something. Maybe you can't. But, yeah. So, that's a thing you can do with it. So, now, let's head on out to Primordia on our first mission. Whee! Alright, we have made it here to this yellow circle, which means that there's about to be a cutscene, so let's go and watch it and see what happens. This does not look like a good situation here.
What the hell happened here? You don't think that one Sinicula could have killed all these simius?
Unless
Unless... what?
this is bad.
What's bad? I don't follow you.
That Sinicula. It's a tyrant.
Huh? But it looks just like any other Sinicula.
Think about it. Your typical simius is way higher up on the food chain than your typical Sinicula, right? Usually we'd find one simius standing over 3 or 4 Sinicula corpses. But here, the tables have been turned. And I don't see a single trace of any other indigents in the area. There's only one explanation. That Sinicula is a tyrant.
Let me check the Blade Report database. If there's a tyrant this close to the city, someone must have run across it. Bingo. There was a Sinicula tyrant sighted not too long ago, but it was a couple of segments further out.
It could have followed the blade that spotted it back towards New LA, or come here to feed, or who knows what.
That's crazy. I can't believe there's a tyrant right on our doorstep and HQ isn't doing a thing about it.
Well, don't forget why they sent us here in the first place. Frontier Nav's range is still limited.
Oh, right. They couldn't track it if there's no local probe. They must have lost it when it went off the grid. The Tyrant designation is given to creatures that pose a special threat in one way or another. That doesn't always mean raw strength. Some Tyrants will actually register as low rank when we find them out in the field and engage them in combat.
But don't let that fool you. If a creature shows up as a tyrant, you can be sure it's got at least one nasty trait or ability to speak of. The system can't account for everything, though, so don't let your guard down, no matter what rank it assigns. Even some of Blade's very best teams have come back with serious injuries after running into a tyrant in the field. If they come back at all.
Well, alright. I'm game if you are. Count me in, Elma. Let's do this. If we're gonna settle here on this planet, we're gonna have to get used to dealing with tyrants now and then. We can't just keep running forever, you know? Besides, I'd never forgive myself if someone else ended up getting hurt because we just left it here.
All right, let's do it. But don't push it, okay? Either of you. If we can take it down, great, but if not, even just luring it away would be a moral victory. As long as we buy enough time to install the probe, we can use Frontier Nav to track it, or any other tyrant that comes this close to the city from now on. Just make sure you're ready before we attack. This will be tougher than anything else we've faced.
Lynn's advice. Gear and arts. Engaging a tyrant is no small task. It's important to equip your best before charging in, so double check all weapons and gear. Oh, and make sure your arts are ready and leveled up, okay? That's the first step to becoming a combat master. Yes, what Lynn says is very true. At this point, you definitely want to have leveled up your arts and equipped your best gear if you have not already done so. I have, while not recording, so let's go defeat Volkampf, the Pursuer. And I hope I pronounced that right. These names are really weird.
Good.
Alright, here we go.
I punching a hole in you.
I can't really hear it with the volume right now, but I remember the music for this fight being really awesome. So I'm just going to let you listen to this because it is really great.
Flame grenade!
Shadow strike! Now, melee attacks!
Chrome armor! All or nothing!
Sliding slinger! Scream edge! Fire tackle!
Take it down! We can
Upper hand!
Right. This'll work best.
Side slash!
I'm
Off balance!
Assault hammer! Opportunity knock. Cover. Got Flame grenade!
And we've been fighting so long that it's nighttime now. Wow.
are awesome!
Yeah.
Nice work.
We are awesome.
You fought well. You did too. Now let's get down to business and install that data probe. If we stay here for long, there's no telling what other playmates might show up. This beam of light indicates a frontier nav site. It marks the ideal spot to bury the probe.
Okay, the probe should be ready for insertion. I'll just boot it up.
Thanks, Lynn. The top half of the cylinder contains the probe itself. The bottom half is a laser. It dissolves the soil so the probe can burrow to the proper depth. We tried just planting them on the surface at first, but we kept running into problems with the local wildlife damaging the goods. Burying them is going to save us all a lot of time and headaches in the long run. We all set?
Yes, ma'am. Whenever you're ready.
Why don't you do the honors? You can launch it right from your comm device. Give it a try.
Nah, I've already done this. Let's have Lynn do it.
What? You want me to do it? Now, there's nothing to it, trust me. It's easy. And besides, this is supposed to be your training session, remember?
Trying to get me to work. No!
Which is exactly why we're here. You're going to have plenty of firsts as you become...
Oh wow, she did not like that. Alright, I'm gonna step up to the challenge, my guy.
Good. Now we just need to give it a minute to reach the target depth.
And
There we go.
installation complete. We are now online with a solid connection to Frontier Nav.
Excellent. See? At the end of the day, there's really not much to it.
Shut up,
This
Alma.
part was calculating the ideal probe locations. We need them spread out evenly to maximize data collection.
Yep, planting probes is easy. And the more we plant, the more likely we are to find missing crew. So anytime you see a probe site, there's no excuse not to plant that sucker.
That'll do it for your training. Let's head back to the barracks and report to Secretary Nagi.
What Lynn doesn't know is that there actually is an excuse. Well, let's... actually, I'll tell you what the excuse is now. You need a certain mechanical level to install various data probes. So if you don't have the high enough level, you can't install it. Anyway. I'm Lau, a Pathfinder. If we're gonna grow Frontier Nav, we need to install more data probes. To plant one, simply approach a vacant Frontier Nav probe site and press the A button. This requires your mechanical... Oh. Yes. Lau already said that. Alright, well. Good thing the game tells you that. Alright, now, Elma's advice. Engaging massive foes. Now all that's left is to report back to base, but first I'll let you in on a secret. A giant beast that is usually best engaged with a scowl. Neutralizing a foe like that on foot, especially a tyrant, is pretty risky, so be careful about such things in the future, okay? You've got all the different sizes of monsters. The biggest one doesn't even fit on the screen. Alright. So, yeah, now all that's left is to report back to Secretary Nagi in New LA's Blade Barracks. I'll meet you guys there. After I fight this Nocturnal Vesper.
Now blast them! Flame grenade!
Shadow strike! Move in and do some damage!
All or nothing!
Sliding slinger! Side slash!
Flame grenade!
Upper hand! Fire carnival! Sliding! Lightning destroyed! Move in and strike!
Infuriate! There's no substitute for real combat.
We got it. Let's move.
Now then.
Hey,
Achievement unlocked. Info lover. Alright, well, that achievement came at a good time, because, we just got back to our destination. So, let's go bring Secretary Nagi the good news. Cut the loading. Alright.
Commander Vandam.
Well now, look what the cat dragged in.
sorry we missed you last time. We could have come to meet you at HQ, you know.
Indeed. I suggested as much. Twice.
And we know how much I enjoy being told what to do. Anyway, I hear you tangled with a tyrant, way out of your league, on a training mission, no less. That was reckless, and goddamn magnificent.
Alright, seems like he, likes that. You successfully installed the data probe and completed your training. So yeah.
So, Commander, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit here today?
Well, I can't just ask Nagi to do everything for me. I'd be out of a job.
Hey, I delivered you the new recruit, didn't I?
Yeah, you won the bet. Don't worry about it, all right? I'll settle up with you later. You know I'm good for it.
The bet?
I'm sure I'm needed elsewhere. If you'll all excuse me, Commander.
Well, that wasn't obvious at all.
Huh. Look at you two. I swear, you're like two children excited about a new toy.
Look who's talking. I don't recall ever seeing you file a request to personally train a rescue before.
Is that so odd?
It is before we'd even asked him to become a blade, little Miss Stick in the Rear.
Usually I ask when I don't get your slang expressions, but something tells me to just let that one go.
Enough about that. Where are your manners, anyway? I still haven't been introduced to our new recruit here.
Commander Vandam is Blade's top officer.
In a past life, I was chief engineer on the White Whale. Same idea, basically. Someone has a problem, I fix it. You follow? Huh. Not much for conversation, are you?
So you still haven't told us why you're here. From the look of things, I'm guessing this isn't a social call.
You don't think?
No. So let's cut the crap and get down to business.
Ha! Sounds like you're learning my expressions just fine, Elma. Anyway, first we need Chatty Cathy here to choose a division and pull an assignment.
Alright, let's get started.
Whoa there, Itchy Trigger. I know you're just chafing at the bit to run out there and grab the world by its tail, but you need to choose a division first. Once that's all...
A division? Oh no, not math.
What your first assignment's gonna be.
They're gonna be multiplication too?
New LA works for Blade, in one of several different fields. Helping to explore Mira, or to maintain order in the city, or... well, you remember Nagi's speech, right?
Vividly.
There are 8 different fields in all, and each one has its own branch within Blade. Officially, they're called divisions. Naturally, you'll want to choose one that best suits your personality and your talents.
Let's start with the Pathfinders. Pathfinder's #1 responsibility is planting data probes, like you did on your training mission. It may not be the sexiest job, but important? You bet your ass it's important. We've only been on Mira 2 months. We don't know jack about this place. The more probes we install, the faster we can get our bearings here and give ourselves a fighting chance.
We've already detailed how important it is we expand the Frontier Nav network ASAP. So, for the time being, I'll just remind you of the highlights. It helps us keep Blade safe. It helps us keep the city safe. And most important of all, it's the key to locating the missing parts of the Lifehold and recovering the rest of the human race.
Okay, next up, Interceptors. You met Akalov and Evans, right? Irina and Gwen? This is their division. Interceptors have one main duty. Protect New LA and everyone in it from the wildlife here on Mira. Right now, this is probably our busiest division. Interceptors ride shotgun for the research eggheads, they escort VIPs around, and they help any other idiots who get caught out there with their pants down.
Next are the Harriers. Remember Doug Barrett, the Skell pilot conducting the test flight with Lynn? He's part of the Harriers. If you think of the Interceptors as defense, Harriers would be New LA's offense. They specialize in preemptive strikes on clear and obvious threats. But only on clear and obvious threats. They're not meant to go out and just blast any indigene that moves.
And you got your Reclaimers. These guys are in charge of finding the other pieces of the White Whale. Among other things, that is. Including anything of ours left behind after a battle. Skell debris, weapons, personal effects. It can get a bit morbid, frankly, but it's gotta be done. Until we're up and running here on Mira, and have this place completely figured out. Everything we brought from Earth needs to be treated like it's irreplaceable. Also, the search for the Lifehold. That's mostly on the Reclaimers.
Next, curators. Curators are the first to scout ahead to unexplored territory, bringing back whatever samples they can get their hands on. Fruits, bugs, sticks and stones, you name it. It's not all picking berries, though. Being a curator also means being the first to encounter unknown indigens.
Next? All right, prospectors. Prospectors do, well, prospecting. They poke around, looking for minerals, resources, and whatnot. Things we need for everyday life here. We packed all the essentials we could on the White Whale, but that won't last forever. We need to be able to replenish our water and fuel if we want to survive. And sooner or later, we're gonna have to figure out how to replace things from scratch. From the socket on a Skell's knee joint, right down to the frying pan in Lynn's kitchen. Without these guys busting their butts, we'd have no future to speak of.
Next up, outfitters. All of our ground gear and Skell weaponry is developed in conjunction with private arms manufacturers, or AMs. Outfitters are Blade's way of supporting these AMs. They'll seek out anything that might inspire new weapon ideas, and even assist with testing new prototypes.
Finally, the mediators. These are the folks who keep everything hunky-dory with John and Joan Q public. Any problems a civvy has, they come to mediators. Fight with your neighbor? Mediators. Lost cat? Mediators. It's not a division for everyone. You need to be a jack of all trades, and a people person. Someone with my charming personality? Probably not the best mediator. But if you got what it takes, it's a clutch role, keeping things cool on the home front.
All right, so I think that's all 8 divisions. Any idea which one you'd like to join? Don't fret about it too much. Whichever you choose, you still have a lot of freedom in how you operate. Mediators can still get out there and mix it up, hunt indigens, whatever. And if a Harrier wants to take a break and settle an argument, that's their prerogative too. To be honest, even though it's sort of frowned upon, you can actually change your division whenever you like. So there's really no reason to stress about this. All right, you ready to choose?
Alright, I am ready.
Yeah, and? We're on pins and needles here.
Alright, I'm gonna select it. Okay, so they just went into a huge speech about this, so I'm not gonna ramble on too much about it. But basically, each of these has a different function to it. And honestly, what we're going to be doing the most is completing missions. Everything else, yeah, we're going to be setting up every data probe and doing stuff like that. We're going to be collecting a lot of stuff, but most of that's going to be off screen. Mainly, it's going to be completing missions. And every time you do something that boosts division points, as you can see on here, you get, well, more division points, which we'll go into a bit later. On my last playthrough, I was an interceptor. So, this time I thought, why not be a mediator? It's the same thing, and although instead of doing the defeating enemies, it's training scouted blades. Now, I'm not going to be doing any training of scouted blades, but, you know, I kind of like the idea of mediators. I'd like to think of myself as liking other people, so let's go with that one. To be honest, it really doesn't matter that much.
Then it's settled?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank God that's over. By the power and
Definitely.
yada yada, you're officially a blade.
Congrats. And welcome.
I know you're gonna do great.
Now for the job. Let's get down to brass tacks. Nelson's team has gone missing. Last contact we had, they were installing a data probe out in eastern Primordia. Then, nothing.
Nelson. Pathfinders, right?
Are we talking indigents here or what?
Your guess is as good as mine, but they did have a skell with them. You'd think they could hold their own, or at least run away.
Alright, we're on it. We'll head to their last known location and go from there.
Report whatever you find ASAP.
Of course. Let's move out.
Roger that.
Alright, and that is the start of Chapter 3. So, next time, we will become the builders of a legacy. Well, let's just read this, and then we'll finish this episode. Blade Services. You're officially a Blade now. Congrats! Becoming one of us grants you access to a variety of services, including the shop terminal, the AM terminal, mission control, and more. Some services are still off limits at the moment, but I'll get back to you on those later. Ever wish you could zip straight back to a place you visited? Well, that's why we have fast travel. It allows you to instantly return to significant landmarks as well as any Frontier Nav sites that have data probes installed. Just access the segment map to use it. Arms manufacturers, or AMs, support us from the sidelines by developing new weaponry and gear, and by utilizing their services, we can support them too. Head to the AM terminal in Armory Alley to learn more about working with AMs to make new gear. Alright, so next time we will be going to all these shops and new services that have opened up for us, as well as starting Chapter 3. So you can look forward to that in the next episode of Xenoblade Chronicles X. Until then, be sure to like, comment, definitely, and subscribe if you want to see more. Alright, guys. Bye.